This is my overnight hair growth oiling routine that works wonders for growth, thickness, length, and health. As you can see, that was my hair with a fresh trim before I put it into these braids. And I'm starting with a leave-in cream, which is by Moisture Miracle African Pride. It is a coconut and baobab leave-in cream. You can use whatever moisturizer you usually use. This is my favorite one. It is very affordable. I usually buy a 3-pack on Amazon. All the ingredients that you can possibly buy online from this video will be linked in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. So you don't need too much, just that little amount. Rub it between the palms of your hands and then put it all over your hair from your edges all the way to your ends. It does not matter if your hair is in braids or twists or a blowout or you have straight hair. Just put the appropriate amount of moisturizer for your own hair in whatever state it's in. Now, if your hair is already moisturized and you feel like you don't need moisturizer, you can 100% skip this step. But this is my overnight oiling routine for hair growth that I do at least 1 to 2 times a week. So this is not a daily thing because it is quite intense. So be prepared, okay? So after doing this, it is time to oil the hair. This is the oil I'm using and here's how to make it. So to start this oil, you want a pot with water. As you can see, it is very hot, but it is not violently boiling or even really boiling. You would want to use a bowl that is a little more sturdy. The reason why I'm using this one is because it's glass and I want you to be able to see the bottom of the bowl. The important thing is that the water should not touch the bowl. It should just be the steam. And as you can see, I'm using 100% avocado oil and I'm using a 1/4 cup for this base. Now know that if this is the first time you are trying out this mixture, you can half the recipe so you only have to use a little bit. As you can see, I am using fresh rosemary. Fresh rosemary tends to go bad fast. That means the oil does not have a long shelf life. If you would like to keep this oil for longer than 2 weeks to a month, depending on where you live, you'll want to use dry rosemary instead. You'll still get almost the exact same effect. So what you can see is me picking off the little leaves off each stem, and the stems that are very soft, I'm just throwing them in and I'm making sure that everything is nicely soaked and submerged in the oil. Even though it's not too much oil, you just need a little bit. So as you can see at the bottom there, you can see that it looks like there's water at the bottom. The reason why you don't want the water to touch the bottom of the bowl is because it can actually burn the oil or denature the oil. It will be almost the same thing as putting the pan directly over the flame. So now I'm adding some moringa powder. I'm only using a teaspoon. The reason why that's not full is because that is half a tablespoon and I'm looking for exactly a teaspoon. Now moringa is a superfood and it is actually amazing for hair growth as well. I love moringa in my hair and I have used it for about a year now as well, mixed in with my other products. Another disclaimer I want to put is that if you have never used any specific ingredient in this video, I would suggest you try that ingredient by itself first to make sure you know if your hair likes it or not before you go ahead and use it. But if you have tried every ingredient in this video, you can go ahead and just make the oil just exactly how I've made it because it is super potent and powerful. So as you saw there, the rosemary had cooked for about 10 minutes without the oil ever boiling, and the reason why you can tell that it is done is because the leaves kind of change. They become a little dark gray, almost like a funny weird greenish color. That's how you know it's done. So if it's been like 5 minutes and the rosemary looks exactly the same as when you put it in the oil, you know that you need to cook it a little longer until it kind of looks a little denatured and the leaves will kind of get a little bit soft. So now I'm decanting that oil mixture into a jar after it cooled down for about 30 minutes. And now it is time to make the rest of the mix. So now I'm using about 1/8 of a cup, which is half of a 1/4 cup of castor oil. I told you they are quite a bit of oils. Now any single one of these oils could be amazing for hair growth, but the combination of all of them together makes sure that you get every single benefit and effect from all the different oils, and that's why it is amazing. So you could say castor oil would grow your hair all by itself. Sure it can, but combining it with rosemary oil and moringa and a few of the other ingredients like peppermint oil will maximize your benefits. And if this is too difficult for you, you can always reduce the amount of ingredients and just put what your hair specifically likes. This is what my hair likes, so I'm using all of it. So I'm putting 10 drops of peppermint oil. By the way, all the oils that can be found online will be listed in the description box below. So now I'm adding some tea tree oil. Now this bottle is slightly different from the other tea tree oil I usually use because this one is mixed with a little bit of vitamin E oil, which I like because vitamin E oil is great for a preservative effect and it can help extend the life of the fresh rosemary oil just a little bit longer. Next, I'm adding rosemary essential oil because I find that the benefits of the essential oil and the extract directly from the dry or fresh leaves are kind of different, so I like to maximize on both. Next, I'm using lavender essential oil, and every single essential oil I only added 10 drops each. You can use less if it is your first time, or you can use more if you feel like your hair likes it. But for me, 10 drops is pretty good. Now, the reason why I didn't heat all those oils up is because just in case any of them may have got denatured by heating them up, I wanted only one oil to risk those effects, and I put that as the avocado oil, which my hair absolutely loves. And now I am just adding that moringa and rosemary infused oil into the oil mix that we already had down there. And there'll still be a little bit left over, but I can get rid of it and use it very, very quick. So I didn't mind that. And now you can see after I've decanted it in the bottle, you can see the clear separation between the moringa and rosemary oil and the castor oil, and that is simply because the castor oil is very thick. So the way to go around this is, one, you can warm it if you want by putting it in a bowl of warm water, or you can just do what I did and shake the bottle until your arms get tired. But the good thing is, once you're done shaking, it's never going to separate again. Now that we're done with making it, it's time for application. As you can see, I've used a lot of it. This is the same bottle. And for application, I just apply this on my roots only. I don't put it on the hair because my hair is in braids. There's no need to put any oil on it. And it actually isn't really helpful unless you're doing like a hot oil treatment. But right now, I'm just focusing the oil on my scalp. And I'm not sure if it looks like I'm putting a lot, but I'm really not putting that much. One drop of full can go down at least 3 lines. And I'm making sure to just focus that on the scalp and then quickly rubbing it in so that it doesn't just like fall over and go over my hair. I want the focus to be on the scalp because while these oils obviously have benefits for your hair shaft, they have more benefits for your scalp. I actually have a playlist with a bunch of videos where I talk about all the benefits of all these essential oils separately. But this one is just like my most powerful oil that combines all my favorite essential oils. And just applying it to the scalp like this really helps. But don't worry, there are a few more steps that will make whatever oil you're using in your hair even more effective. So make sure you stay tuned because there's only a little bit left over. So once I'm done applying that, you want to know that even if your hair is out, whether it's not in braids, you can still do the same thing. As you can see here when my hair was blown out, the application is the same. So it doesn't matter what kind of hair you have. And if you feel like applying like that is too much, you can just put a little bit of oil on the pads of your fingertips and then go ahead and start massaging your scalp or placing the oil on your scalp. So here what you can see is me putting whatever oil is left over on my fingertips around the perimeter of my hairline, starting from my edges in the front up to the back of my braids. If your hair is in braids or any protective style, please don't forget the back of your neck because a lot of people neglect that area and experience a lot of dryness and tangles and breakage. So now once that all in, you want to do a scalp massage. Now, this is extremely important because it really improves the efficacy of every single oil that you use. What I love about my oil mix is you can tell when you've massaged your scalp enough because it starts to tingle. That's because of the peppermint and the tea tree and the rosemary. They all leave like a tingling sensation on your scalp, which also promotes blood flow to that area. But if you're not using any essential oil that leaves a tingling sensation, you will still know when you're done because your scalp is going to feel warm. Your face is also going to heat up and feel a little bit warm. It almost might feel like you're going to break into a sweat. And your scalp might also feel a little tingly. As you can see, the massage process is the same even if your hair is out, and then you know it's done. So once I'm completely done, I put whatever little oil is left over on my hands just on the ends of my hair. And this is simply because I will be washing my hair within the next 3 days. So if you're not going to be washing your hair in the next 3 days, avoid putting oil on your hair shaft because it can actually block moisture from entering in your hair. But if you'll be washing it within 3 days, then it's fine. Now here's a little additional step to add more efficacy to your oils and let them penetrate into whatever bits of your roots and your hair shaft. You want to go under heat, under a plastic cap or plastic bag for about 10 minutes max. So here I'm using my Ronson 3000 portable hair dryer. I'm not even exaggerating. This dryer is as old as me, okay? It is old, okay? So I have no idea where you can buy it, but there's so many different options of similar things available. So right there, I set my timer for 5 minutes, and the timer is not for the oiling. The timer is for my Balayam nail massage. So this is the sound it makes. So, Balayam Yoga works on the principles of reflexology that your hair follicles are connected to the nerve endings in your nail beds. So, when you stimulate these, but not the thumbs, they do not recommend that, it actually improves the blood circulation to your scalp, which enhances hair growth. So, you can do this for 5 minutes and then leave your hair for another 5 minutes. So, you have a total of 10 minutes under the heat. Or you can do it for the full 10 minutes, but I usually get tired or bored. So, I usually just end after 5 minutes. Continue under the heat for another 5 minutes, so it's 10 minutes. And this is what the hair looks like afterwards. The hair looks healthy, it looks shiny, and now it's just time to put on your satin bonnet, or you can just sleep on a satin or silk pillowcase if you don't like to sleep with that. If you'd like to know an easier recipe which only has 2 to 3 ingredients, you can click the video on the side of the screen right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one.